driving me crazy.
Yeah.
Craig's driving me crazy already this morning, guys. Ha ha ha.
That's how I roll.
Good morning.
Notice, stop talking over me.
No, I'm going to. All video long.
She'll do it all video long. It's going to happen. Good morning, everyone. We're here at the Craig and Nicole show. The best show in the world. Show.
No.
Whatever.
We know how it's hashtag.
You
Craig.
write the hashtag.
True. That's why it's written that way.
I guess so. All right. Well, you're going to notice there's someone else in between us here today. It's not me. It's Pete Novak from GNIAR.
Someone's got to separate you two.
Pete was in place. The court made Pete come in here and sit in between us for protection.
Court mandated.
Yeah, it's a mandate. We got that going for it. But Pete is the CEO of GNIAR, our local board of realtors, the Greater Northwest Indiana Association of Realtors. Even though Nicole would call it the Association of Realtors.
That's true. There is an extra syllable in there. Did you guys know that?
Nicole thinks there is.
I only say that to annoy the crud out of Craig every day.
Well, we got to get that corrected pretty quickly here, Nicole.
Yeah.
We're going to talk afterwards. So.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Yes, sir. CEO, sir.
I have some backup. Awesome. Okay, so Pete's going to give us a quick rundown of all the awesomeness that is GNIAR. And Nicole's going to stand there and interrupt me. And then we're going to let Pete go.
There we go.
Is that a good intro?
No, not really.
No? Okay.
We should just start with our first question. How about that?
What is the first question?
What does the association do for its members? I think this is a good question.
That's supposed to be the last one. That's supposed to be the last one.
You didn't say we were going backwards.
We always go backwards. We always go from 5 to 1.
In an interview, really? You have 6 on here. Why did I think that was...
It was a bonus question.
Oh, I'm sorry Craig's this way this morning, guys.
She could have got here. She could have got here 5 minutes early, and we could have went over all this.
Yeah, okay.
Apparently, I'm not doing my job already. I'm not doing a good job separating these two, so I'm already failing. Darn it.
All right. Well, let's start off Nicole's way with number 1. What does the association do for its members?
Simply, I could describe that simply. We protect our members' livelihood and our profession. But to elaborate on that, we do a lot of different things. I mean, mainly we advocate on behalf of our members. That's one of the most important things that we do. We educate our members, try to keep them abreast of what's happening locally and nationally in real estate. We own and operate the multiple listing service, which obviously a lot of our members use, of course. And we enforce our code of ethics. That's probably the biggest thing. And it's a self-policing system, so it takes our members to be involved in that. But just trying to have a level playing field, I think, is one of the biggest things that we provide for our members.
Awesome.
I think that's one of my favorite things is the code of ethics part, because I think sometimes we all need a little help with that. So,
that is one of the biggest reasons why the National Association of Realtors was formed in the first place. Because you had unscrupulous actors out there doing things that they weren't supposed to be doing, and then we have our good members who are the majority of our members who do things the right way, and they just want to make sure that all things are being equal, and so that's how the
phone call. Sorry, guys.
Nice. I was wondering about that. If I interrupt that during it. So.
Just pause it for a second. It's fine.
I thought you shut that off. No.
No, I can only silence it, man.
Oh, all right. Well, so we are a self-policing organization. I think that's one of the biggest things too. You know, we hear a lot of agents where maybe there's a dispute going on between another agent, but then they don't make that next step, is that filing an ethics complaint. You know, that's what separates realtors from real estate agents, is that code of ethics. It's kind of a higher standard that we follow, and I think that's a tough thing, because I've heard some of my own agents, when they decide not to make a complaint, is mainly because, well, I don't want that agent to not show my listings in the future or something like that, which in theory, an ethical agent would never operate like that anyway. However,
it gets real complex, because depending on what potential violation has occurred, it can fall in a couple different categories. So if it's an MLS violation, that becomes a little bit different, where we as the MLS will enforce those rules, and people like myself have the ability to deal with members in that regard. But when it comes to code of ethics, it is a peer-driven system. So people, such as your peers, are going to make ultimately that determination of whether you committed a violation and what penalty should be there for that. And then of course we have license law, which is not in our local association's control. And then now you're talking the Attorney General, the Real Estate Commission. And sometimes that gets frustrating too because they don't always act quickly. They don't always tell you exactly what's going on with any investigation that they do. So that's where it becomes complex and frustrating for members because depending on what the issue is, it could fall in any of those different avenues. And sometimes members want that sort of immediate gratification that they called someone and someone did something about something. But as you guys know, real estate's a lot more complex than that. And sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but at the end of the day, we are a self-policing organization. We are held to a higher standard, and we hope that all of our members will, live up to those standards. But unfortunately, they don't, and it's going to take our members to file complaints to make sure that we get those individuals that aren't following the rules. Corrective action is put in place for them.
So remember, realtors, if you see something, say something.
I know
Very
you're joking
true.
about that, but
Very
honestly,
true.
A good portion of where we fail is that we don't have members that are willing to step up. And I know that's uncomfortable. That's one part that we totally understand. These potentially are people you've cooperated with, maybe currently are cooperating with, you potentially will cooperate in the future with, but at the end of the day, their activity won't stop unless we get members to file the complaints and that we have a chance to take a look at those things and take corrective action where violations occur.
Excellent.
All
Excellent.
right, sounds good. Well, I think we answered that question.
I think we
Pretty
did.
good, yeah.
I think we nailed it. Good job, Pete.
Thank you, I appreciate that. And I separated
Oh,
you guys
God.
effectively now here in the last 2 minutes, so you're working together now. So that's
We're
good.
working together. Hanson and Craig on the same page.
Uh-huh.
It's a great time. Okay. What would you consider a great tip for an experienced agent when dealing with the board?
We put on a lot of different programs, services. We provide a lot of different technology. I guess my tip to agents that have been in the business for a while is don't get stuck in doing the same old things. Be open to learning new things. Our industry is constantly evolving. It's constantly changing. I've been in this business specifically with GNIAR for 12 years. And if I look back at what it was like 12 years ago versus what it's like today, it's changed vastly. So that would probably be my advice to an experienced agent is, don't get stuck in your old habits. Take a look at what things are available to you and try to learn those things. I see that far too often that doesn't happen in my opinion.
Nicole, do you got anything to add to that? Because I do have one thing I'd like to add.
I don't know. I guess I'm an experienced agent now, and I kind of do, I guess with the MLS, I do sit with the same stuff. I'm sure I do like a lot of you guys do, and I just said, okay, on the screen, the messages that come up, because all I'm trying to do is work and get into there. I do like now that on the MLS, they've now repeated that on that left side, right? So that you can't just click out of it, and it's in your face every time you log in, so that's something that's good. But I think a lot of it is, like when I started, I took like the classes about the MLS and stuff in the beginning that showed me how to, now when I do comps, like my main board just tells me literally every single detail I need to do a comp versus me having to open each one and, look at all of them. But I learned that from some of the classes that I took when I started with the MLS.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you can customize to fit what you're looking for. And I guess that's really what I'm saying is I often hear complaints or questions from members where I don't want to say that what they're asking for they can already potentially do. They're just not doing it. Yeah. So, but I get it. Real estate is overwhelming. You have a lot of different things going on. Let alone with your clients, but from the association perspective, you have the National Association, State Association, you're getting emails daily. So it can be overwhelming. I get it even for experienced agents, but again, there's a lot of opportunity for you to learn new things. There's a lot of things that we provide that members aren't taking advantage of, and I would just encourage any members, even new members or existing members, to always look to us to be a resource. We're happy to help you with any of that stuff. We're happy to walk you through, call our staff. You're not bothering us. That's what we're there for. And we'll take the time to make sure that to the best of our ability, we're trying to help you with whatever it is that your issue is or whatever you're trying to learn about.
And I think that's a good tip for new agents, because that was our next thing, is realize that there is help out there. I've had to call, especially in the beginning, I had to call GNIAR a few times, like, how do I do this? Or I made a mistake on this. Can you help me? Can you fix it? You don't realize that they're there and to help you. Like, you always think of internal inside the brokerage, but sometimes, you can reach out to GNIAR too.
Yeah, it's just, don't reach out just when there's a problem. Again, we're there to help you with really anything across the board. So that would be my advice is, don't just think of us when there's an issue. Think of us when you're just trying to figure something out or learn something new. Not saying we know everything or that we can always solve all your problems. That's not what we're saying at all, but it won't be for lack of trying. That's for sure.
And I think the other tip I probably have for new agent, I'm not letting you talk at all.
I know, right? I still have an experienced agent tip I was trying to get out there, but
yeah,
whatever.
Is basically take those classes at GNIAR, especially if you're a new agent. You can meet other new agents in the board or in the MLS, and that way you can start meeting people right away. Because a lot of it is just networking with other agents and starting to build your reputation with other agents too.
Right. I think that's great. And my one tip I was going to give for experienced agents is after you've kind of established a good foothold in the career of real estate and things like that, consider getting involved in the board. There's tons of opportunity. There's tons of committees that you can get involved with. They're doing great things. I know a lot of us know RPAC events and things like that are going on, but there's tons of great stuff going on at the board. We post a lot of it now on the GNIAR Facebook page. If you're not a member of GNIAR Facebook page and you are a realtor member, a member of the association, I would consider, sending a friend request to the board or whatever, on the Facebook page and joining that.
So here's the question, because I've thought about it before, but for me, like I have 6-year-old twins at home, I run this real estate team, like how much of a time commitment is being on the board?
I would say it's as little or as much as you're willing to volunteer. I mean, it is a volunteer board, it is all the events that we do are volunteer led and driven and things like that. I think it's as much as you can handle, I guess. And like you said earlier, when you go to a CE class at GNIAR, you meet all these brokers from across the 5 different counties. So you get to meet interesting people, other realtors that it's going to be helpful to do a deal with another realtor that you know personally. It helps, it definitely helps. So I think getting involved is good. I'm on the board now, and I would say maybe 3 hours a month, maybe, because we have the one board meeting that's usually about 2 hours, and then I'm in a couple different committees that if you average it out, it's probably another one meeting a month or something like that. So it's really not bad.
I was going to enter it the same exact way you did. It is whatever you want to make of it. We never turn away good help. So whether you wanted to commit 30 minutes a month, a year, it doesn't matter. We're going to take your help. We are a volunteer organization at the end of the day. Unfortunately, Craig doesn't get paid here for the job that he does, and trust me, he puts in a lot more hours than he probably just admitted to you just now. But again, it is whatever you want to make of it. And one of the things that we're trying to do is we're trying to utilize technology from a staff standpoint or an organization standpoint so that our volunteers don't always have to physically be present to participate. So we've been participating a lot lately in video conferencing, committee meetings where members can participate from their home or their office or whatever the case may be. So we're trying to do a better job of that. Our goal is not to utilize or occupy your time. Our goal is to be able to get good input, good participation from our members to learn what it is that they're thinking, what it is that they want, and to help shape where we're going in the future. Because at the end of the day, our board and our committee members are made up of you guys. That's exactly who runs our organization. So when I hear stuff like, oh, the board does this, the board does that, the board is people like Craig Friendling and other people who are doing the same exact thing that you're doing. And so to me, that's where it gets, sometimes I feel like the people that eventually get involved with our association, whether they're a member who's been here only 3 years or someone who's been here 15 years, it's kind of like a light bulb goes off when they get involved because they're seeing all the different things that we do, and they also get a chance to see that how they can make a difference in every other member's life. So to me, that's I just wish more members would get involved and see all the things that we're doing. I think that they would be surprised with what they see.
Now, thank you. I'm going to say the next question we're going to move on to. I don't think we'd be doing ourselves and this show, the integrity of the Nicole and Craig show, justice if we didn't ask you about health insurance. Because like does that look infected to you?
It looks like it might be skin cancer, dude. I better go get that checked out.
No, anyway, I think health insurance is a big topic for a lot of real estate agents. So talk to us a little bit about what GNIAR's efforts are or the state or whatever with health insurance.
Right. So again, let me say I'm not the expert in health insurance. And actually our staff member, Joe Wazolik, who's our chief operating officer, has been heading this up for us. But let me just start out by saying if we could provide health insurance, I would view that as potentially the number one benefit we could offer our members. Cool. That's not the question, is our willingness to try to do that. We have been looking at that for a while. It really boils down to state law. boils down to whether insurance companies are willing to write policies that would fit our needs. And really, at the end of the day, even if they were, it boils down to whether what would be offered would really be of any benefit to anyone.
Yeah.
So, again, it's a work in progress. We don't have all the answers right now. We've been consulting with insurance companies, attorneys, other associations, that are attempting to do the same thing. And I just want to, one thing I would want our members to know is that if we could do it, we will absolutely do it. It's just a matter of whether or not what we would provide would really be of any benefit, and whether any insurance companies would even allow us to do that. And that's what we're working through right now.
Excellent.
Cool.
Excellent. And I think the last question is just tell us about the structure of the board, because some people don't know that, the GNIAR is actually kind of made up of two separate boards. Not kind of, it is made up of two separate boards.
I didn't, and I was asking Pete this morning. I'm like, I think of you as like the president or whatever. He's like, no, I'm like CEO. I'm like, okay, well, whatever. That explains why we need to ask this question.
So basically, we're going to ask Pete to explain this to Nicole. And go.
No, it is. It's very confusing to our members. So let me just say that GNIAR is the parent corporation. It is a not-for-profit 501c6, similar to like a chamber of commerce. We're a professional trade association. We have a governing board of directors. I think there's 21 people on the board, and the board members are elected by all of our members. So whether you're a managing broker, I say agent, I'm sorry, I got to get that vocabulary out of my system, but all of our members vote for the people that sit on the GNIAR board. In addition to that, we have something called our MLS corporation. That's actually a for-profit corporation that the parent corporation GNIAR owns. GNIAR is a sole stockholder, so while it is a for-profit corporation, keep in mind that the shareholder is still a not-for-profit. So nobody's pocketing any profit, nobody's bringing anything home. Any money that our MLS makes stays within the MLS, or it gets transferred over to our not-for-profit. But because Indiana law requires that any corporation has an autonomous board of directors, by law we have to have a MLS board of directors as well. So that's 13 members, and they are elected by managing brokers. Well, really the term is participant, but mainly that are the managing brokers of our MLS. We have about 525 offices, which means we have about 525 participants, and anyone that gets elected to the brokers, and their job is to operate and create policy for our multiple listing service. So they're the ones who choose who our MLS vendor is. They in essence create our rules and regulations. So GNIAR does have some say-so in that, but largely the MLS board is autonomous. So that's where it becomes difficult. Imagine my world. I have two boards of directors that I have to report to. So I have two sets of bosses that I got to deal with. But at the end of the day, they're still made up of the same people. And it's the same, people like Craig. Craig sits on the GNIAR board, but he could easily sit on the MLS board if he were a managing broker. So it just really depends. It also depends what your interest is. If you're interested in in technology and MLS and things like that, you would want to participate with stuff related to the MLS. If your passion is advocacy, your passion is professional standards, the code of ethics, community involvement, then you would probably want to participate on the association board, the GNIAR board.
Excellent.
So I hope that answered your question, Nicole, or was that confusing?
I know, I'm trying to sort it out, I think,
you're
still.
confused and they're confused, so
I'm trying to sort it out still. So, see, and I was thinking Craig was on the MLS board. So,
me too.
So what does the what does the MLS board do that's different than the GNIAR?
They messed up my square footage. That's what they did.
So the MLS
Areas?
is going to be in charge of, again, I would mostly describe them more as stuff on the technology side, but first and foremost, like I'll just describe the MLS, Rapatoni.
Okay.
Like the MLS board is ultimately in charge of whether we keep that vendor to provide our MLS software, or if we want to choose a new one, to create the rules and regs too as well. So all those things that members look at when they're reading the rules and regulations, those are initiated and passed first and foremost by the MLS board. So they're in charge of MLS policy.
Okay.
Again, there are some checks and balances. I don't want to get too deep into it. The GNIAR board is allowed to sort of accept those or reject those, but in essence, those are created by the MLS board.
So like when we got
that is another technology, right? HomeSnap, the broker public portal, that's a technology we just launched this past year. That is MLS as well.
Okay.
RPR is on the MLS side, so Realist is on where I guess what we're talking about, and that's why it is confusing, unfortunately. But we are required to have that structure per Indiana law.
Okay.
Afterwards, we can let Nicole.
I think.
I I can't leave here without Nicole over at our association. But
Well,
you're not.
Things, putting it out there to try and kind of figure out what's what.
Well, and we've had that. We've had board members, our board, found out that their passion was stuff on the MLS side and said, you know what, I'm on the wrong board. So I'm going to get off this board and I'm going to try to get elected to the other board, and vice versa. People that got elected to the MLS board and found out at the end of the day that wasn't what their passion is, and then they ended up on the GNIAR board. So
Okay.
I think that has a lot to do with it too, what your interest is and where you want to try to make a difference.
Okay.
Excellent. Anything else, Nicole?
I don't know. I thought we were supposed to do a funny question. What happened to that? We missed
There's
that.
nothing funny when we're talking serious board business right now.
I did want to offer one other thing too. We don't have the details out yet, but on April 11th, we are going to be hosting a GNIAR open house, and that open house is going to be held at our headquarters. And the whole purpose of it is to give members an opportunity to come in, anyone that's interested, and talk directly with our board members, talk directly with our committee chairs, talk directly with our staff. So if they have questions, exactly what you're talking about, Nicole, what do you guys do? What type of commitment is it? How much time do I have to put into this? What are the different topics that you deal with? That is the whole purpose. There's no program other than to come in, have a few drinks, have some food, talk to our board members, learn more about our organization, learn more about our structure. And our hope is that that'll garner some interest from folks to get involved. And believe me, we don't turn away good help. We absolutely will take every single person that is willing to give us their time, and we'd love to have you. So I hope you'll participate.
So April 11th, where and what time?
It's going to be, the details aren't confirmed yet, but basically it'll be from 4:30 to 7:30, I believe, as of now. That may be subject to change slightly, and it will be at our office in Maryville.
Okay.
And again, we'll send information out to membership, but it's just an open house. You can come and go as you please. And again, the whole purpose is just to give you an opportunity to network with the board members and learn more about what they do and why they got involved in the first place.
And speaking of that, YPN, don't you have something coming with YPN too?
Yeah, I think it's actually sold out already. I think.
Oh, dang.
I think, but February 21st. Yeah, we're doing a panel of experts at the GNIAR board office, and I think that's going to be pretty awesome. We've got some awesome. We got a managing broker. We've got, I think, 4 agents. Well, we got 2 managing brokers and 3 agents that are going to, basically just speak candidly and answer questions from our audience. And I think we hold how many does that conference room at GNIAR hold, the training room?
It'll hold about 75 right now.
Okay, then we might have a couple spots, because I know we were over 60 last time I checked.
I was say you saved me some tickets, right? Come on now.
Well, and actually it's free also. It's free because we got, I believe it's Draper and Kramer Mortgage is sponsoring, they're buying the lunch for us. So it was going to be $10 and you got a boxed lunch, but now the lunch is paid for, so now it's free.
Sweet.
So if you want, get on the GNIAR calendar and get signed up for that.
And I think that's the big thing about the association in general is just meeting people, and you can do that by taking the classes, going to GNIAR, and looking at everything that we have to offer as far as get-togethers and things like that. It's all on there.
Yeah, we got some awesome stuff going on. All right, I think we pretty much, it's like over 20 minutes. That's as much Craig and Nicole that you guys can stand. At least you got a little bit of heat to temper that time.
And I'm sure they're feeling the same way about me, so you can let me in that conversation too.
No. Okay, well, anyway, thank you guys all for watching. Feel free to share it out. Share it out to as many people as you can.
And Craig and I, we're looking for ideas for new shows. So let us know if you have any ideas for shows for future reference, right?
Ideas for shows. We'll do that. Yeah. We're thinking about doing a training series with like some contract forms and stuff like that.
See, but that would require technology, and Nicole figured out how to merge like 5 technologies because this one is no help. So
yeah, I don't know how to use video. All I can do is push finish or start on the camera.
Basically, and I had to push start today, so if that tells you anything.
Speaking of, I think
Bye,
that's the show.
Bye.